was growing up as a kid, growing up in, inner city and things like that, it was, for a lot of guys, it was promoted as being, almost like a rite of passage, to have sex. And so even at an early age, I'm talking like 13 years old, you were encouraged by the older kids in the neighborhood to like have a girlfriend or to get with a girlfriend or something like that. And that was what was actually modeled before us. So then we actually got involved doing things as young guys that we should have never got started doing. No godly influence for most of us. So like, it was not uncommon for guys to, when the parents are gone away, I mean, we were all latchkey kids during the summertime, so it was like your parents are gone, we would go back and forth from each other's house. You might try and have a girl come over, or there might be several girls that would come over. And so then it would be like a group of guys, a group of girls, and then my one friend, he had like, his parents had like a bar, in their house. And so then not only did you start trying to connect with girls, but then you also started drinking at a very early age, and we're talking hard liquor. So that happened, and then you start watching porn, you start doing all this stuff as a young kid. Then by the time I got to be an adult, I didn't wait as far as sex. I didn't wait until I got married. And then, my wife and I remember when we were in this premarital class, we had a couple they were both virgins, and we were kind of laughing at them and stuff like that, like, oh man, look at these guys are kind of corny. And then, it's like you would hear them next door giggling and laughing, but then the Holy Spirit showed me something really key. He was like, hey, guess what? That guy's not thinking about any other women when he's in the bed with his wife. And I was like, oh, we were in a premarital class together. So it was like, then I began to understand the benefit of purity, but I learned it on the back end. So I've had to overcome a lot of mental things just in terms of giving myself over to the Lord and truly walking with Him to understand what's really valued. So now what I teach my sons is totally different. As a former youth pastor and a guy that taught college and career, I would tell young guys, young ladies, hey, there is a benefit to being faithful. I mean, there's so many natural benefits that are involved, but then spiritually, you don't have the enemy beating you up in your mind mentally over, mistakes that you've made in the past, and you have a clean slate. And when you and your wife get together, I'll never forget, Tim and Robin, I mean, they had the ability to enjoy one another and the bliss of their marriage without having that history. And so I would just really encourage you guys to really contemplate doing it God's way, because you'll have a lot more peace and a lot more satisfaction in your family and in your marriage.